Severe poverty is seen all over the world, but mainly in developing countries, Africa being one of them. Out of every 100 Africans, 70 of them are either impoverished or on the edge of falling into poverty. The definition of poverty is that of a person without the availability to basic necessities and needs of life. Within Africa, the sub-Saharan region is in great need of helping hands. There are other issues in the world, such as world economy, education, and health, but in the end, poverty is the leading domino that affects the rest.
To start, the world's economy and poverty go hand in hand due to their roots in money. A 2013 report on sub-Saharan Africa revealed that 48.5% of the population is living on less than $1.25 per day and 69.9% on less than $2 a day. The main cause of such low incomes is that of Africa's main profession, farming. The farmers have a hard time yielding crops from such dry land, causing money to be scarce. The United Nations Development Program has been sending aid and educators of agriculture to the struggling area, but their help is not enough. When people are not properly educated, it causes a decline in productivity, which means a lower income. By educating these impoverished Africans in trades specific to the country, they gain a new set of skills that will allow them to perform jobs they could not before. When working due to their newfound skills, these citizens are making money and begin to stop their cycle of poverty. In recent years, technology, international trade, and foreign investment have enhanced the global economy along with the lives of hundreds of millions of people in developing countries. Unfortunately, most of the advancements were made in Latin America and Asia, which meant Africa would fall even farther behind in development. This can change by sending aid to educate African citizens of technology that will implement a connection to well-to-do countries. Sub-Saharan Africa will be able to join and improve the world economy along with the ability to give back to the countries that provide supportive aid.
Overpopulation in sub-Saharan Africa will decrease as poverty does. As proven in Namibia, a country near South Africa, the average family size was decreased by half of what it was before when poverty dropped 20% over 20 years. Foreign helpers explained to the citizens that their rapid growing population was a problem and what they could do to slow it down. One of the main factors of the ever-growing population is that the impoverished citizens do not have access to proper sexual education. In result, myths like eating peanuts will keep you from getting pregnant arise, which cause more pregnancies. By educating these men and women of the truth of reproduction and ways to prevent it, the region's birth rates will decrease. Also, since the sub-Saharan Africa region has poor health and living conditions, the death rate of mothers and children are exceptionally high. Because of this, couples have an average of 6 children in hopes of 1 or 2 surviving. If living conditions are improved with help from developed countries, couples make the choice to have less children because they know they will survive. The cost for these couples in the long run is reduced when knowing about birth control. For every dollar invested in contraception, the cost of the pregnancy-related care is reduced by $1.43. This stops them from falling further into debt.
Health and living conditions need continuous help in sub-Saharan Africa to help end poverty. Angola's Health Minister Jose Van Dunham expressed this when addressing African governments and the need for fixed and mobile health teams to serve vulnerable groups who lack access to health services. Also, he voiced that to continue to see this growth is the need for more support, otherwise the country will fall back to poor health as it did before. By providing health services, the citizens and communities' health improves because of affordable access to life-saving doctors. Sub-Saharan Africa not only needs access to health services, but most importantly to medication. The World Health Organization has found that roughly 270 million people in Africa lack regular access to even the most essential medicines. These medications could save many Africans' lives and stop disease from spreading. Veronica Magoma, a 35-year-old woman in South Africa, was diagnosed with AIDS and was not told that there was a treatment for her diagnosis. The health system knew the citizens were too impoverished to afford treatment, and there was not enough access to it anyways. Every day, these physicians have to send these poor people to their deathbeds, and they can do nothing to stop it. Sending and funding medications will help the less fortunate live healthier lives. Along with health issues, environmental risk in an impoverished community are not always the government's top priority. African governments are more worried about the economic status of their countries rather than if there is access to things like proper water sanitation. Poorly maintained living conditions cause citizens to contract illnesses. Sending support could enable African governments and citizens to raise their standards of living. When help is given to improve poor African communities' health, there is a better chance that it will rise out of poverty.
Poverty is like the umbrella that covers all of these topics and ultimately controls them. Skills learned due to aid help create job outlooks which improve the economy. Also, when educated properly, African couples are more likely to have fewer children, resulting in less debt to hold them down in poverty. Last but not least, proper health guidance from developed countries increases the availability of medical assistance and paves a path to a healthy community. Their lives will improve tremendously along with others around the world when help is given to Africans in need. Developed countries need to join hands and send supportive aid to end these poor people's suffering. All it takes to begin is one helping hand.